Hey, hey, everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Reginald KoolAid, Reginald Martin, aka KoolAid. And here at Kemetic Living, I help those people who are transitioning from negative programming, negative Christian programming, so they can live life boldly, authentically, unapologetically, and on their terms without guilt or shame. The whole idea is on my channel. I do not bash Christianity. That's not my thing to do. I don't believe in bashing people, period, because that's negative. That presents negative energy. However, I will provoke thought, and a lot of times Christians don't like my content because I will say something about Christianity that goes against their beliefs. Now, just because it goes against their beliefs does not mean that it's wrong. It just means that there's something that, for me, is wrong with what we were taught as Christianity. I was a Christian. I was raised Christian for most of my early adult life. I believed. I was a believer. Okay. And but as I started studying and started studying even religions comparatively and stuff like that, I started to have a lot of questions. I had questions before I started studying it early in my teens, but I want those questions just weren't answered. You know, a lot of people just say, "Oh, well, God don't want you to know that." You know, you don't supposed to question God and stuff like that. Well, that doesn't sit well with me. But as I got older, started studying, started researching, it just opened up a whole lot more questions. So it even opened up a question to a point to where, did Jesus even exist? Okay, our whole life was run by this idea that we had to believe, you know? And once that door was open and I started to pry it open even more and question and research, um, man, so that came to one of the videos that I did today, or with a body of work that I've done here. I've really tried to show that the idea that we've been taught as Jesus as a historical person is just not true. So there are so many scholars today that are starting to really move away from the idea that Jesus is historical. There are many biblical scholars that are starting to become atheists because they just don't believe. They started to see the holes in what they were taught as Christians. There are a lot of people who are called a Christian apologetics, that their whole idea is that they're looking to prove Christianity, and they will jump through all kind of illogical hoops to make Christianity true. You know, so at any rate, but what I do is I break this knowledge down, and I go back to really ancient Kemet, which was the source of Christianity. Okay, so and through the Greeks, so the Greek Gnostics taught the Christian fathers, and most Christian people or early Christian fathers were Gnostics before they broke off and became Christian. So, but the knowledge, the foundation of all the knowledge that's in the Bible, the Gospels, all of that started with ancient Kemet, okay, ancient Egypt. So I use those two interchangeably. But Kemet is an older civilization, is a civilization that was older, prehistorical Egypt. Okay, so that's what Kemet is. Um, let's see. Horsepower enthusiast said, "What's your view of the elites like the WEF?" I have no idea what you're talking about. So, no view. Never heard of them. So then as far as the elites or the, I don't know what you would call elites, like the elite rich, I guess. I mean, they are what they are, but yeah, that kind of stuff I really haven't gotten into. But the idea is that what we were taught, or how we were taught in the Bible, or what we were taught in the Bible, there's actually knowledge that's underneath that. And in the video that I even talked about today, I talked about one of the scriptures. I believe it's Mark chapter 4, verse 11 through 12. And I go to the Bible because I believe that there's nobody that has ever been Christian. And I specifically talk about Christianity because that's what I lived. Okay. That's what I was. That's what I grew up. I don't know Islam. I don't know Judaism, but I experienced Christianity. And I have experienced a Christian life. I have experienced my family, friends, community, a Christian community. So I talk about Christianity, and ultimately, I see Christianity as negative programming, negative affirmations that end up putting you in a limiting your beliefs, which cause you to limit who you are, who you believe yourself to be. So I will talk about alleviating those limiting beliefs by showing you how the Christian doctrines were changed and how, or not even changed, they made up doctrines that were negative that from teachings that weren't negative. And that's where the ancient Kemetic teachings come from. They are just the only teachings that can fact check Christianity because that's where Christianity started from. Okay. Plain and simple. All right. So, Brenda Grant, good evening. How are you? Good. Are you glad I've subscribed to the channel? Ma'at Hotep. I'm a newcomer. Well, glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. So, thank you for being here. So, most definitely. And you guys, y'all are definitely y'all subscribe to the channel. Hey, I put out some good content, and I know it's content that you won't find anywhere else because a lot of times when people put out content that they call Kemetic, is regurgitation and or all they're doing is repackaging religion and calling it Kemetic. It basically they tell you how to do and live the same stuff, you know. So my content here is going to transform you and it's going to change your life. Okay. And so it's very powerful. So I ask you subscribe, join as a member, become a member of the channel and help support the channel. So I'm definitely moving to a point to where a lot of times I really get people and Christians that'll come at me in a very negative way because they'll assume I'm their enemy, you know, because I just don't believe like a Christian. But I'm not the enemy. I'm just simply sharing some ideas that if they really looked into them, they would find that they were true. But it can be a very negative and trying experience for somebody like myself that you have to read comments of people calling you the devil or the antichrist or just basically making negative attacking comments for no other reason than I just don't believe like they believe and they think that I'm the enemy. And of course with Christians, if they think that you're the enemy, then anything that they do is justified, you know, which is kind of wild, you know, that you're supposed to be a loving like Jesus, but you are one of the meanest human beings on the planet, you know. So I appreciate the subscriptions definitely, and for me to keep doing what I'm doing, I need you to join. You know, join and support the channel financially as well. So those go hand in hand. You know, and it helps me to do this. I do this full time, and that means that I can, because I do it full time, I can produce good quality content for you. I do it in a way that I help you. If you watch the video today, you know, Jesus Christ, myth or Messiah, you know, that's the video I did today. I researched a lot of that and I put a lot of time into it. That video today was a 20-minute video. It probably is 20 hours worth of work, at least, you know. So counting research, production, everything. But I love doing it. Excuse me. And I love teaching these concepts that are seemingly very convoluted and very difficult and making them very simple for you. Okay. And that video today, I really got into numerology and the numerology really of Jesus. And really it's a framework for all the saviors of the world. They all have the similar story as Jesus because they're all telling the same story. And they're telling stories that at the foundation of it is numerology. Okay, and that's basically what I was going through today and teaching that. You might have to listen to that video a couple of times, okay, but it is going to make sense. And if you start to compare that story of how I broke down the numerology of Jesus, like the missing years, between people have made up these stories about Jesus that are the missing years between 20, or I'm sorry, between 12 and 30. There are no missing years. All it is just ancient numerology that they had a gap because it's about spiritual numerology, not about a life of a person. Jesus Christ never existed, never was a human being, never was a person. If you take away the Bible, Jesus will disappear. The Jesus Christ that we've been taught. If you take away the Bible, Jesus Christ will disappear. And there is no credible sources that can confirm him historically. Every source that has been supposedly a documented source about saying something about him historically has been proven untrue. Every single source, the Flavium Testimonium, the Tacitus statement. There's a couple. There's about 3 statements that that apologetics will rest on, but they've been proven untrue. They don't. They are complete fabrications, or they don't state what people say they did. In the case of Tacitus, he's just making a generalized statement that people want to say it was about Jesus, but it wasn't. Okay, so yeah. So Gloria Davis, thank you. There's one of the supporters. So Gloria, thank you very much. She said that was a great video. Definitely appreciate you and appreciate you for supporting the channel. Most definitely, most definitely. So definitely take care of my people. So Gloria, you got questions or anything? Your questions answered first and foremost. So most definitely. So TL, thank you very much. Thank you very much. TL said the video was great, and I appreciate that. I said I put a lot of work into it, and like I said, I love doing those things, man. It's just to make those things mean, or to make those make sense. I love that. I love that. Let's see. And Ism says, love how clear and to the point you make this information. Been subscribed for a few years now. Thank you, Ism. I definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. So yeah. Which ones are currently? Yeah, I'm not secret agent. I don't know about the 4 kingdoms, so I don't study the Bible. I'm not like a Bible scholar. I'm an independent researcher, and I research things in a certain way. I don't look to prove the Bible or anything like that. I'd have to look at that particular chapter that you're talking about and see what they're talking about. But usually, it has some esoteric meaning or some deeper meaning. So when we're talking about the kingdom of God, it's not a place you go to after you die. Okay, that never was the meaning of that. Okay, so I'd have to look at that and see. So not sure. Let's see. And Horsepower Enthusiast says, fear is something I need to control, or it keeps going to the doctrine of hell. Meditation is a key, but I need something resourceful. Yeah, no, I understand. And I do Horsepower. I've done videos. I have playlists. If you guys check out the playlist, where again, I give you research, I give you documentation, I give you books, I give you all kinds of stuff, that you can actually help yourself to get over these doctrines. Okay, so I don't just, there's videos. Yes, I give you my opinion about stuff, but I like research because that's something that moves me. I don't like to be told what to think and what to believe. Where'd you get it from? And that's a lot of times the questions that I answer and do with the research on my channel. So especially you see my videos from 2, 3, 4 years ago, man, I pack it with stuff. Pack it with good knowledge and information that you can research yourself. Okay, so this is a channel that you can definitely feel good about supporting, for sure, for sure. Let's see. Billy Carson said the word Jesus is a fabricated name from the root Greek word Jesus. Yeah, that's actually right. And Zeus is a derivative of that name, so that would be correct. And I actually talk about that in the video today. So a number of videos. So I trace that back for you and show you how that came to be. Okay. So now I actually show you how the hierarchy of uh, basically what the ancient Egyptians were teaching. Their whole what can I say? Their whole philosophy was based on the idea of how the light or how the initial fire of creation moved through and down from heaven, or what they call the heavens. Okay, I use those words, but I hate to, because people have this religious idea about them. But how that light moves from the metaphysical into the physical and through the physical. Okay, so their orientation is not even the physical world; it's the metaphysical world, and even the idea of Jesus, or Yeusus, or Jesus, as the Greeks called him, Yeusa, as the ancient Egyptians called him. That was the original light of the world. Okay, the original primordial light. That's the word I'm looking for. The primordial light, the first light that entered into the universe and is a part of all things in the universe. That's their perspective, and I really broke that down today in that video. Really broke that down. Let's see. And let's see. Gloria says, when you get a gut feeling about something and it happens, what do you call that? That's just your intuition, Gloria. So that happens to us all the time. You just, after a while, you just learn to trust it. And in a lot of ways, we were taught not to trust things, not to lean on your own understanding. That was one of the things in Christianity that basically disconnects you from that intuition. But once you start to tap into that, it's like a muscle. It gets stronger and stronger, and you learn to trust it. Your trust gets stronger and stronger. So definitely do that. So yeah. So any other questions you got, Gloria? You ask, because you support the channel. So you definitely, you get first dibs. Period. So my supporters, I appreciate you. So most definitely. Let's see here. Let's see. I found you. Let's see. Let's see. We are just awareness. Says, I don't subscribe exclusively to Kemetic teachings. You're the clearest teacher of it. I found you and Billy Carson. That is, yeah. And this is what I would say to that. We're just awareness. Is that the Kemetic teachings are the teachings that Kemetic teachings teach. They are bigger and more broader and grander than any one system. Okay, and I would say that about anything. There's more than one way to learn this knowledge and accumulate this knowledge and use it and have it be useful for you. So whether it be Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever, all of them are really teaching about the same thing. Okay, on one level, they're all teaching about the same thing. So you don't have to do Kemetic. Okay, the reason that I'm passionate about Kemetic is that it actually helps you unravel the Christian stuff. And the Christian stuff is a limitation. It is a negative limitation. Okay, so that's why I'm so passionate about it, and I teach it because it does two things: to unlearn the old Christian stuff, and then learn really more broader not Christian, more broader spiritual knowledge, more metaphysical knowledge. And one of the things that I do that's different than a lot of the other Kemetic teachers is that I really do, I know and understand metaphysics at a level, and I know a lot of times what these ideas are teaching metaphysically, and I can explain those and express those a lot more clear than a lot of people can. And the reason I can do that is because those are things that I've struggled with a lot of times. I'm one of those people that go, why? And so I like to understand how things can work, because I like to be a scientist when it comes to this stuff. And when I say a scientist, I mean that it's repeatable, that you can experiment with it, and you can look at it and say, hey, well, this didn't work here. What do I need to do? So those are kind of things that's one of the reasons why I use or that I'm so into the Kemetic teachings, is that one, it unravels Christianity. That's the main thing that I like about it. But it's not the only thing that you need to learn from. I don't call it the only way that you need to go. So not at all. So that's no different than religion to me. I see. And Gloria says, when you get a gut feeling about something, and they're later, okay, she already answered that one. Gloria, I seen a girl. I'm ready to answer your questions. For real. So Gloria gets she's prime time. Oh, take care of Gloria for real. Take care. I'll take care of those who take care of me for real. Oh man. Let's see. Let's see. What are your thoughts on the Israelites awakening amongst African people, descent people globally? I'm in two mind about it as this feels like a restricted religion. Yeah, I'm when you say the Israelites, are you mean like the what do they call the God? I can't forget from this group. They're really like fanatical. The Israelite something. I can't remember their name right offhand. But I everybody has their journey. So beat get out of the way. So road runner, huh? But everybody has their journey, and I do my best not to denigrate other people. Okay, so I don't necessarily agree. I don't agree with any ideas and beliefs that are going to restrict me or restrict how I live my life. If I'm not hurting anyone else, the way I live my life is nobody else's business. Plain and simple. Okay. But other people, if they choose to believe a certain way, and if it works for them, I say more power to you. Do what works for you because you're the one who has to live this life. But usually, the problem with any type of religious beliefs is that they're usually going to be restrictive and they're usually going to teach you from a perspective of being fearful, that you need to fear something if you don't follow what the believes and what they believe. And it's usually some other agenda behind it. Okay. I don't like that kind of stuff. I got out of Christianity because I didn't like the idea that good people could go to hell simply because they didn't believe in Jesus. I could not stand that idea. It made absolutely no sense to me. Why would somebody that is a good human being go to hell for not believing? God's love is supposed to be unconditional. But if you don't love Jesus, that's the one condition that gets you in trouble. It's unconditional, but you got to have that one condition. There's always these contradictions. So that kind of stuff I just don't agree with. So and Victor Pearson says, "Love your teachings." Thank you, Victor. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. So yes, you guys, please become a member of the channel. Help me get the word out because the more the more time I'm able to spend doing this stuff, the more good content I can produce. And if I got to go get a job, I got to go work for them. I can't produce. And they might start telling me, "Hey, wait a minute, we don't like what you got to say. You can't work here." I ain't gonna deal with that. So definitely. So thank you, Victor. Definitely appreciate that. Sure as to see your passion for deprogramming our fellow reflections is admirable. Thank you. Thank you. Says we're just awareness. Thank you just very much. Let's see. And Brenda, I'm in Dallas. So I'm a Dallasite. Been here, born and raised. Born Hebrew Israelites. That's it. That's it. Hebrew Israelites. That's who I was trying to think of. Thank you. Thank you. Those brothers there, woo, man, they can get ugly and nasty real quick about their beliefs. But it's like they're trying to take this Bible and make it historical and then fit who they are into this historical narrative that's not. And I'm like, wow, you know, but it is what it is. What are your thoughts on solar flares that happened recently and all the dead fish around Texas shorelines? Hadn't seen that. I don't even watch the news, so that's the first I've heard of that. So I don't know if they were connected or not, but not something that I've heard about. So that was lover tuition. Okay, yeah. So what part? Let's see. What part? I may come visit your church. Brenda Grant, I don't have a church. Yeah, I'll never have a church. But you're not gonna tell everybody that. So I do live in Dallas, but hey, that could get kind of shaky. People telling people where I live. So so I might have some of them Christians that might want to come knock me over the head or something. So understand. So for real. But anyway. Uh, let's see. Gloria says the African calendar is different from the one we follow. When determining your zodiac sign, does it matter which one we use? No. Again, it's there's all kinds of ways that you can get to the same place with this knowledge and information. Again, Kemetic science is not the only way. Kemetic spirituality is not the only way. That would be no different than saying Christianity is the way. I am the way, the truth, and the light. No, there is many different ways. So is it because the way that, and from a Kemetic perspective, there is one source that is expressing itself in a multiplicity of ways. Okay, and those ways can be expressed many different ways. So the different zodiacs is just different cultures doing it their way. That's all it is. So don't try and stuff what you believe or how you think into one way that's supposed to work and fit for everybody. That becomes a problem in itself. Okay, trying to fit who you are into one way of belief, whether it works for you or not. That's what Christianity has done. That's what it's done for us. It's made us think that we have to live a certain way, and if we can't meet these restrictive, contradictive ideas, then there's something wrong with us. Something wrong with the people, not the system that's so jacked up that you can argue against yourself. You can argue against yourself. You can pick up scriptures in the Bible that argue against each other. You know, and again, it's because it's just a lot of it's just you're trying to make sense out of nonsense. So yeah, so live your life. Find what works for you. If I can say to anybody that's going to make your life, me and my significant other, we were talking just a few minutes ago, and we were talking about how she lives in San Antonio, I live in Dallas. Okay, we have no plans on ever getting married. Christians will be like, oh, what? You're not getting married? She's financially independent. She doesn't need me. I'm financially independent. I don't need her. But we both enjoy each other when we get together, and we enjoy each other's company, when we get together. We decided to create our relationship on the terms that work for us, not to fit in somebody else's idea of how a relationship should be, i.e., get married. We've had children. We've both been divorced. We do not need to be in that marriage thing anyway. We are committed to each other. So we have a committed relationship, but we don't need to have a marriage license. When does a license, a piece of paper, become the commitment? Anybody that's ever been married and cheated on knows the piece of paper don't mean nothing. Not if that other person up here is not committed with you. Doesn't mean anything. And I happen to have been a person that was cheated on. So anyway, so my point is create life on your terms. And I talk about that a lot. You create life on your terms and you'll be a whole lot happier. And what the Kemetic science helps you do is to reorient your thinking in a way that you see yourself in a positive way, rather than you seeing yourself in a negative light. That Christianity automatically teaches us that we're born wicked, that every human being is wicked if left to their own vices. You're automatically going to do something bad. That's not how Kemetic teachings taught. That was never the case. So when the ancient Egyptians talked about the fall was about a soul coming into the physical. When Christianity taught about the fall, it was about mankind falling and becoming wicked. Okay, it's two different types of thinking, two different mindsets. If you are, excuse me, if you've ever believed the idea that you are born sinner and wicked, that you're unworthy, saved by the grace of God, all these things that Christianity teaches you in the guise of it's about being humble. You don't want to be prideful. It's negative programming. It's negative affirmations. That's all it is. Okay. So if we were to teach our children to do certain things, if we were to teach our children, we would not teach our children to say these affirmations to themselves every single day. We will not teach a child to say, get up in the mirror in the morning and go, I'm unworthy, I'm wicked, I'm nothing without God. We will never tell our children to say stuff like that. But that's what we end up doing. That's what we end up teaching them to accept ideas that end up being something that's destructive to them. Okay. So these types of ideas, we have to analyze why our communities are in the situation that we're in. Christianity is not the only reason, but it's a big reason when you have, especially if you dealt with, as Black people, we've dealt with white supremacy and racism. That's just a fact. We've dealt with white supremacy and racism. We've been told that we are less than and all of that. Then you take a religion that builds on top of that, that you're unworthy and no good, then you can see why so many of our communities are in the plight that they're in, that they're run down, they're not economically self-sufficient. It's a mindset that we've been trained to accept. Okay. I want us to get over that mindset. And if I can help through teaching the ancient Kemetic ideas that were first about lifting us up, damn well best believe that's what I'm going to do. That is for sure. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Victor Pierce says, okay, I hear that Christianity was in Africa before Christ, but it wasn't called Christianity. From my understanding, it was Kemetic spiritual science. Was that the actual name or something else? It wasn't called Christianity. The idea of Christ, K-R-S-T, absolutely positively was thousands of years old before Christianity. Okay, so all these ideas that became part of the Christian religion definitely existed in Africa thousands of years. So what Christianity did was take these ideas, butcher them, reformulate them, and then give them back to the world as something that was almost unrecognizable. Okay, so absolutely, these ideas existed well before, and those are the ideas in a lot of my content that I'm teaching. Is I'm showing you where they came from and what they meant before Christianity changed them. Okay, before the ideas in the Bible that we are taught that this Bible is the inspired word of God. Hell, men wrote that Bible. And they wrote it through their own vices. They wrote it through their own perspectives. They wrote it through their own biases. A lot of the books of the Bible were written in a reaction to Greek teachings or Gnostic teachings. Okay, so men wrote that. And we get now in the United States specifically, we get these English Bibles that have been translated. And again, they've been translated from a person's perspective and biases. They change words that don't mean a lot of things. The word Sheol and Hades, okay, that they've been translated to mean hell, doesn't mean hell. And a lot of people have no idea. They assume that the translations that we got are like one word-to-word translations. No, they're not. We've been given a lot of fabricated ideas that keep us limited, thinking and with limitation and fear. But yes, the idea of Christ, K-R-S-T, existed 10,000 years at least before Christianity. Okay? So when people say Christianity existed in Africa, Christianity did not exist and I'm sorry, the version of Christianity that the Catholics teach, because there is the Orthodox Christian Church that came through Ethiopia, okay, but they don't believe in a historical Jesus. That's the difference. They teach the African version of Christ, not a historicized version. Okay, so that's the thing that we have to understand that. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Stephen says, peace, brother. What are your views on being spiritual, but also being LGBTQ? I'm glad you asked that question. This is the thing. LGBTQ is welcome at Kemetic Centered Living because you are an aspect of God is just as much as anybody else. And for Christian people to continually try and tell other groups that they are something wrong or something anti-God or whatever is absolutely ludicrous. And as a black person, I cannot understand for a person that a black person that has been discriminated against that will discriminate against somebody else. It seems like you'll say, okay, I don't like being discriminated against. I won't discriminate against somebody else. Okay, but the LGBTQ, your experience is just as valid as anyone else's. So plain and simple. So great question, and thank you for asking that. Let's see. Let me see. Where I go? Uh, let's see. Carmen, what's going on? What's going on? It says, when you said you have to be threatened to believe something, I agree. It's not free will to choose. If I don't choose like you, I'm damned to hell. It's never good enough. No, it's not free will. If you're given free will, but the choice that you supposedly choose is not like what they want, and you go to hell, how free is that? you know, I mean that's not free will at all. So yeah, so definitely, yeah, definitely. So let's see. And Ava 7163 says, good evening. So happy to see you live. Thank you, Ava. Ava, glad to be here. Glad to be here. Always good to be here and answer some questions. So the whole idea, guys, is I'm not I'm talking, but I want people to ask questions about Kemetic spirituality, about metaphysics, stuff that help you to grasp these ideas that make life easier for you, make life better for you. So please ask questions and stuff. That's the whole idea. I don't mean to just like talk at you. That's no fun to me. You know, I was a school teacher for a lot of years. So if I knew I was talking at a class and they never asked questions about what I was saying, either they didn't understand it or they didn't care. And I didn't like that. So raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay. So I'll say again, you guys support the channel, become a member of the channel, and will definitely be appreciated. That support is always appreciated. So it enables me to continue to do great content and put great content out for you. So that's something that I definitely enjoy doing. Okay, and let me see here. I'm going. Hold on here. So I'm going to put. No. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, so y'all can ask questions, and I like questions. I like questions, so that's always a good thing. Always a good thing. Okay, so yeah. So anybody. Let's see. So Kaz says, man, I've missed your Wednesday streams. Hey Kaz, I'm back, man. I'm back. So just trying some other stuff, but that other stuff didn't work. So hey, I'm back. I'm gonna do the thing that works. So that's for sure. So I'm not afraid to like try something and fail. I don't like failing, but I do it. So thank you for the profound answer. You bet, Stephen, for sure. Thank you for the question. I definitely appreciate that question. So let's see. And Kai says, there's something in the Kemetic teachings about speaking family who passed away. When you said is it about speaking to family? So there's not. So a lot of times we get into like these specific questions about stuff, but the Kemetic teachings are more of a framework in which to operate within. Okay, so can you connect with people? People that have passed, absolutely positively, because they're just energy, and all they did is transition. They transitioned from the physical into the metaphysical. Okay, so they just went back to where they came from. That energy, that personality, that being that they are does not go away. Whereas with Christianity, we're taught that either you're going to go to heaven or you're going to go to hell, and then you're just like, you're non-existent at that point. So yes, absolutely, you can connect. A lot of times, those ancestors, we can call them ancestors, and it doesn't have to be older people, but because I know people have lost children, so So, but those people can be guides to you. Okay. And usually y'all travel through lifetimes together. So you live multiple lives. Okay. You don't go once your body passes, you just go poof and you're non-existent. That's just not the case. That's not how Kemetic, the ancient Kemetic teachings are. Okay. So yeah, you can definitely talk to and connect with people that have passed. Okay. Uh, let's see. Kerman says, "How long did it take for you to live, or should I say, really get out of the Jesus threat? It's the hardest thing to let go, even though the teachings don't make sense." No, Kerman, and this is because think about this: if you were somebody who was raised in that before 7 years old, that you got those that indoctrination before seven, you might not ever get over that. Okay, you can logically know that it's something that doesn't make sense, but all of the feelings and all of the experiences that are tied to those beliefs, unless you can get to and address those beliefs, and usually you can't. It doesn't happen in therapy because they don't even consider the religious beliefs that has impacted you a lot of times. But that's one of the things I do with my coaching program is I help people to do that with through that. It's not therapy; it's actually helping reframe you. But man, I've been out, Carmen. I've been out of Christianity for at least 20 years, and there's still some days that I will say, "Thank you, Jesus." Okay, and it's not because I believe in Jesus, it's just because that phrase is tied to a feeling of relief and gratitude. Okay. So that's the things a lot of times Christians don't understand is when I say, and this is what Christians really are fighting against. When I say that Jesus doesn't exist, that Jesus Christ never existed, they're thinking I'm saying that their experience, what they had, wasn't real. Okay. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm wanting you to separate people to separate what how they frame an idea or the name for that they have the idea. The name is not the experience. Okay. In Christianity, we're taught the name that we call it is the experience. They are both one and the same. But if you don't know any other thing, if you experience something and you know nothing else but Christianity, you cannot name it something different than something you know is Christian. Okay. So if you have an experience and your whole frame, your whole life has been Christianity, then you're going to frame that experience, that spiritual experience in the frame of Christianity. If you were to meet a light being, if you all you know is Christianity, you're going to call that light being Jesus. You don't know anything else. That's all you can figure that it might be. Or it's going to be a devil or a demon, because you have no other frame. And all of the devil or demon is dependent on whether you access that idea from being fearful or you access that idea from something being good. If it's good, you'll probably call it Jesus. If you feel some kind of way negative about it, you might call it Satan or the devil. That's just. But those are the frames that we've been given. Okay, plain and simple. So yeah, Carmen, it takes a while to get over those, but you got to recognize when they come up, you have to recognize that they've come up and where those beliefs are coming from. Okay, so for sure. Okay, so is that Dark Goddess? Is that you? Come on, Dark Goddess. Dark Goddess is in the house. She's my moderator. She's my moderator. You good, Dark Goddess? You good? Uh, let's see. And Stephen says, ex-Christian, but I've had supernatural experiences. How do you explain spirits from a Kemetic perspective? I just answered that question, Stephen. So I must have felt it. I must have felt it. But I was saying that they basically you have to learn to reframe stuff from a Christian perspective. Because a lot of times Christian the Christian belief is that if you don't already know about it, then it's probably something you should wonder if it's evil or not. That's automatically a frame that you're having to think about the context of your spiritual experience. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So Dark Goddess says hit that like button. So come on, help a brother. Hit that like button. Robert Bush, what's up, my brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Robert Bush in the house. Me and Robert Bush, we've known each other for years. Known each other for years. So he's one of my brothers from another mother. All right, all right. Glad to have you here, brother. Let's see. Teddy's Bean says, what is the best thing we can do for this realm? Live life on your terms, live life authentically. Okay, that's really the best thing you can do. Live life authentically, live it on your terms, live it unapologetically you. And when I say unapologetically you, I mean you don't apologize for who you are. You don't make excuses for who you are. That doesn't mean that you don't say if you wrong somebody, you don't say I'm sorry, you never apologize. That's not what I mean. Unapologetically you simply means that you appreciate and love who you are. Authentically means that you can appreciate your authentic self. Okay, that's the best thing that you can do, really and truly. Okay. Let's see. See, Carmen says you went to vacation Bible school. Hey, me too, brother. I grew up. I was in vacation Bible school, man, drinking that KoolAid. I remember this KoolAid, man. It was so nasty. I couldn't. I still remember the taste of that stuff when I was a kid. Nasty, nasty KoolAid. How can you mess up KoolAid? Oh man, Kerman, you brought back some memories, man. But yeah, but the truth is, if you have been raised from a baby, and there's a saying that Christians know, these Jesuit priests knows, that says if you give me a child until they're 7 years old, they will never stray from our teachings. Science has proven that. Psychology has proven that. That if you imprint a child with a certain belief system before their brain is through formulating, which is around 7 years old, they can never stray from those teachings. Okay, so just be aware of that. That is so very true, so very true. But yeah, Carmen made me think of it. Man, now I can't get that. Y'all ever had that where you can still taste stuff from years ago? That was such a bad experience. I still taste that shit. Oh man. Oh, for real, man. Sugarland. All right. Yeah, I know what Sugarland is. I went to Houston Baptist University, Stephen. So that's where I graduated from. So I know what Sugarland is. So yeah, been down there, been down that way. Serious indoctrination, absolutely, absolutely, for real. Shauna, you on time? You on time? What's up, Shauna? A, you on time? It's all good. Bit some saltine crackers and fruit juice. Yeah, I think we did have some saltine crackers too, but it was some kind of juice. It was almost syrupy. This juice that we had. I don't know who made. It was probably something that Sister Aura made. Y'all know who Sister Aura is, don't you? Aura. Hey, Pastor Aura. That's Sister Aura. She probably made that KoolAid. That syrupy tasting nasty stuff. And we had it every day. Oh man. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, Vacation Bible School was a trip. That was a trip. For real. Let's see. And Gloria says, people from my old school been calling me all week. They can't understand why I'm not at Vacation Bible School. They keep telling me my grandkids need to be there because I always took them. Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't keep doing that to those kids. Don't keep doing that to those kids, Gloria. So you're right, man. All that indoctrination, heck no, that negative indoctrination. Kermit, I don't know if it was jungle juice. I actually like jungle juice. I actually like that. Y'all don't know what jungle juice is. You ain't lived yet. Kermit, see, you telling your age, bro. Is jungle juice still around? I wonder some of my young people. We still got jungle juice. Oh man, I hadn't seen that in years. I see the foundation years from birth to age 8 years old. I'm getting my graduate degree in early childhood. Those are the formative years. Yeah, absolutely, Love Flow. Absolutely. So if it's so those of us that were indoctrinated before 7 or 8 years old, yeah, we those beliefs, especially if we have hell like put into us, that fear of that belief is hard to get over. Okay, it is hard for them if people don't address it. You just do not get over it. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So those fears for real. So, but yeah. But at any rate, all right, my people, my people. Uh, see, Dark Goddess says. So I'll call Dark Goddess because I know she's my moderator. Blessed Goddess, but her name was used to be Dark Goddess. So she got a little bit different there. But says they used to ask me when I'm coming back to church. I told them when they get a smoking section, I'll be back. I heard that. I heard that. And you're talking about that kind of smoking, right? Not cigarettes. Fire up that blunt in the back. Yeah, preacher. Oh, let's see. Robert Bush said you can get jungle juice in South Dallas. Of course, South Dallas will still have it. Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. South Dallas. South Dallas is where all the black people live at. So we still we hang on to some stuff. Oh, the sunny south side. Yes, yes, yes. So absolutely. So Robert said, yeah, we can still get jungle juice there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So that stuff was just straight sugar, straight sugar. But I'm a sugar addict, so hey, I do what I do. uh, let's see. And Gloria says, I told him I can't do some of that Jesus stuff. Let's see. I know that's right. I know that's right. Yeah. And this is the thing is I'll tell anybody that if those beliefs are working for you, do them because you want to do things that work for you and make your life work better. Okay, that to me is really what living life on your terms means, is that you do what works for you. And if Christianity, belief in Jesus works for you, keep doing it. But if it's not, it's time to start to question it. Simple. Make it simple. That's why, hey, I pushed the easy button. Y'all seen that commercial? Which the office? I think it's Office Depot. Push the easy button. That's what I like to do with life. Push the easy button and make it work. For sure, for sure. All right, all right. All right, my people. Yes, yes. All right. Like y'all again, hey, become a member, my people. Become a member. Become a member. Need your help, need your support. Love your support. All right. All right. Let's see here. Any questions? Any other questions? Talk to me, my peoples. Talk to me. Yes, yes. If y'all haven't checked out my video today, it is let's see, what would Jesus do? No, it ain't. No, 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 no. That wasn't the video. Let me see. Let me get my video. I'm gonna put it up here put it up in the chat room. So if y'all hadn't seen that, I break down the Jesus story. Actually, it is the really, because people talk about that there are many savior stories that are all over the world that basically have kind of the same story. Okay, well, that's because they all teach from one particular template, and I break down that template today in the video today. So I think it'll be very helpful for people. So for sure, for sure. Yeah. But that's the link there. So if you guys hadn't seen that, it's really some in-depth teaching. So I really go in depth, and it's really going into numerology, really the origin of numerology, and which was the origin of the Jesus story. Because a lot of people don't realize that the four gospels that teach that we've been taught about in the Bible, they don't all tell the same story. Scholars have known that for years. That it doesn't tell the same story, but we're taught like it's one cohesive story. But there's stuff that Jesus died on in one book, John. Jesus died on this day, and in another book, I think it's Matthew, Jesus died on another day. Okay, So, in one book, Mary discovered Jesus. In another book, it was Peter. In another book, Mary and Martha discovered Jesus, and they didn't tell anybody that he had resurrected. In the other book, a lot of people will tell. They all tell different stories. And scholars have known that for years. You know, so but the idea of Jesus is based in numerology, ancient numerology. So let's see. Solemn F says, "Have you studied the Emerald tablets?" I've looked at them a little bit. They're really cryptic, but the part where I stopped studying them because honestly, they really had a very European mindset, and it just I know the Africans didn't think in a lot of ways that these supposed tablets were translated. And so anytime I see something that's translated ancient that's translated into English, I am always skeptical of it. Or not necessarily skeptical, but I understand that I'm getting things translated from that person's point of view and from their biases. Okay. So like one of the things people got mad at me about, I said the 42 negative confessions of my aunt, they 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 don't make sense from a Kemetic perspective. And what I found out was that a Christian Egyptologist came up with the 42 negative confessions of Ma'at. And they sound a lot like the 10 commandments, you know? So he translated something, but it sounded just like the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do this, shall not do that. But the universe does not speak in not. And I know that the universe, so from a Kemetic and metaphysical perspective, those 42 negative confessions go against how the laws of the universe work. Okay. So the emerald tablets and stuff like that, I always take into mind my knowledge of metaphysics. I guess that's what I look at. I have a vast knowledge with metaphysics. And if those ideas don't coincide with the way I know metaphysical laws work, I'm immediately skeptical. Immediately skeptical. Okay. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Steven says, "Are you familiar with ancient Sumerian gods, Enki and Enlil?" Yes, I'm familiar with those. And if you watch my video today, then you'll be able to understand and decipher that story because again, they're telling the same story. So it's two Enki and Enlil and the Anunnaki. Yes, I'm familiar with the story. It's mythology, okay? But people want to take it as history, or they want to make it as something that is historical in nature, as the Anunnaki created human beings, stuff like that. So again, I look at these ideas as myth. That's what they are. And when I say myth today, we think of myth as something that's fictional. But in the ancient times, myth was not about fiction. It was actually explaining mathematical formulas. Okay. So again, I talk about that in the video today. So if you guys hadn't seen that, check it out. Check it out. So I think it will be very helpful for you. So there's the link again. Okay. All right. Yeah, I know that's news to a lot of people. So the because understand that if you're getting something in English that was Egyptian, it's been translated. Egyptians didn't speak English. So understand that somebody had to translate that, and they're translating it through their knowledge and through their biases, everything that they do. Okay. So any of the ancient texts, if something is in English, it's been translated. And unless you can read the original language, you're not getting the original ideas. You're getting their ideas as they believe them. You're getting their ideas in the way that they've been taught and their biases. It's the same thing. There's as many Bible translations as there are. People talk about it's the word of God, but if it's in English, it's been translated from something because the original Bible The Old Testament was written in Hebrew. The New Testament was written in Greek. Okay. So if you're reading that in English, you're getting somebody's translation, not the original. And a lot of times the words used in the English translations are complete and utter fabrications and mistranslations. Okay. And I use the word hell, the idea of hell. Hell was never mentioned in the Bible. But if you get, there are some English translations, most of them don't do that now. But the early translations, like the King James Version, they talked about the idea of hell. But that's not what the words meant in Hebrew and Greek. Okay. So a lot of stuff like that that you got to be wary of. Okay. All right, family. Let's see. It is about that time. Again, guys, hey, become a member of the channel. Definitely would appreciate your support. I will see y'all again next time. So we should do this again next week. If you got questions, come and bring questions, and we can talk again. Okay. All right, family. Hey, y'all have a great rest of the day, and I will see y'all next week. All right. All right, guys.